Hello? 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 Hello, 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 hello. I'm alive. What a miracle. I'm alive, guys. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm so alive. And I'm behind your eyes. I don't need you to need me. It's no surprise. I'm alive. I was surviving COVID again. I didn't get COVID. I got influenza B, type B. Oh, Dragdoon, thank you so much for the first time chat and the follow. How are you? I'm good. Hello, friends. Hello, hello, hello. Ugh. Ugh. Same thing, same difference. What the fuck do you mean? HIV? Huh? Yeah, Hib. Yes. I had influenza B. There are types. There are types. If you go to the grocery store, and get a quick test for the flu, for the cold, you will get a they have the ones that will test for COVID and will test for flu. So the one I got was like COVID, flu A, flu B. And I had flu B. Very, very, very faint line, but a very faint line is still positive. It was so faint though that I did have to take a picture and send it to a friend and go like, am I hallucinating? Am I just like sick and hallucinating? And I asked my husband, I'm like, am I hallucinating? But that looks like it's a faint line, right? So I might post it in the Discord or something and you guys can tell me if I was hallucinating, but definitely something was wrong. Something was definitely wrong and I was definitely sick because I was not feeling well. I was like full like winter bundled up. Like I had my socks on and my gloves on and my like 3 layers of pants. Well, 2 layers of pants. I had long johns on under my sweatpants and I was under blankets and I was still cold. So I was like, this is not normal. Girly Pop, you're streaming late. I am streaming late. It's late for me, but this is the time that I have today. So I was like, I wanted to see you guys. Also, like, I keep seeing that I'm keep seeing that ADHD is in the news, or actually like psychiatry generally is in the news, and I'm just like, some of these things I will choose not to comment on, but ADHD I will comment on at length. Okay, at work, see you next stream, hopefully on my day off. And happy belated birthday. Oh yeah, thank you. I mean, I guess technically it's more anniversary. My birthday is in November, but yes. Thank you, thank you. I know, I'm sorry that I'm like so not consistent. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm so not consistent when it comes to streaming, but we're doing our best, okay? We're doing our best. Lev has to make money to pay for Levi Nyan and Veli Nyan. A November twin? I know, right? Are you also a Scorpio? Wow. Hope you're feeling better at least. I'm good, thank you so much. I am so surprised my streak is still alive. I mean, I haven't been streaming that often, so that probably helps. Geez, over a year too. Glad I found you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm so happy for everyone who like has been here since the very beginning. Like, my goodness, it's actually crazy. Wait, there's so many people who were here in the beginning who are still here now. I'm like, I'm honored. I'm honored and blessed. Okay, guys, let me know if you have any. Oh, Alexandra, thank you for the bits. Thank you for the bits. Thank you so much for the bitties. I don't know if the sound went, but you can't get rid of that easy. And I was first. Yes, that's true. Slime was first. My first child. My first viewer and my first child. Ba, 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 ba. Scorpio twin. I know. Do any other Scorpios? Are there any other Scorpios in the chat? And do you also get maligned? Because that's what I feel like. You sound a bit sniffly. Are you feeling okay? Oh, I am good. I'm just still recovering from the flu. I had a horrible summer cold and then I felt better. And then 2 weeks after that, I immediately got the flu. So I am currently recovering from having had the flu after having barely recovered from another illness. And then also at some point, my car decided to die. Yeah, the Lev mobile just crawled to a stop in the middle of the road, and then people were yelling at me and honking at me and yelling at me and honking at me, and I was in the middle of the road like, do you think I'm here with my hazard lights on for fun? Do you think I enjoy blocking traffic? Do you think I'm here because I like making you inconvenienced? Like, no, I don't want to be here either. Okay, I don't want to be on the side of the road blocking traffic either, but here we are, you know, here we are. It's not my fault. And anyways, people were yelling at me for no good reason, and so I was very sad. And then a very nice couple came and poked my car in the right hole so that it stopped being locked up and was able to be in neutral, and then pushed to the side so that I was no longer being yelled at by everyone and God. And then I got towed to the dealer. The tow truck guy was really nice, but I did have to pay money to be, oh God. I did have to pay money to be towed to the dealership and then have my car fixed. The car getting fixed was very funny though, because I don't know if you guys have had your car taken to a shop recently, but something that they've started doing is like they'll have the mechanic record a video and then send it to you with like, oh, this is the mechanic recording the video and sending to you a list of like the things that they found and their diagnostic and what they think you need and why they think you need it. And it was just so funny. It's just this poor guy who's like not used to filming, who's like, hello, it is me, your mechanic. It is me, your mechanic. I've discovered the problem. Your battery isn't working, so you need a new one. I'm just like, I don't know, it just made me laugh because he just sounded so like, why am I doing this? Girl's battery is fucked. She just needs a new battery. Like, what else am I supposed to? It's also not something I can like show visually. He's like, I mean, it's complicated and I don't, you know, you don't have to understand this part, but I tested it like this. Mechanic should have gone to Streamer U. I know. He needed yes, he needed that extra that like, he didn't even show his face. He wasn't interacting with chat, you know. But he was like, hello, it's me, your mechanic. I don't know why it made me laugh so much. It really did. And then he was like, also, I think if you want, we can change your filter. And then he showed me the filter and he was like, it's kind of dirty. I'd recommend it, but I guess if you don't want to, it's also fine. So anyways, I felt like I really connected with my mechanic, Tony. Mechanic Tony. Oh yeah, he did say that his name was Tony. He was like, hi, it's Tony. So really nice guy. I have never met him in person. We've never spoken, but I feel like our hearts have connected. And I was very convinced by his pitch. And so I invested too much money to fix my car because I need a car because I live in America, in suburbia. And if I don't have a car, I can't get anywhere. God bless Mechanic Tony. I know, seriously. Thank you so much, Mechanic Tony, for fixing my car in less than a day, too. My car got towed at like 8 p.m. and then it was fixed by 1 p.m. the next day. Man, collab with Tony. I was gonna drive up to the dealership again and just be like, Tony. L streamer, but W mechanic, literally. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for getting the Lev Mobile back and on track. Honestly, I'm like little, not big T traumatized, but like little T traumatized by my car stopping at a stoplight and then not starting again. That I was like, you know what, Lev, you can't be scared of driving. You live in America, in suburbia. You can't be scared of driving. You have to. So I exposure therapy to myself, and I forced myself to drive the exact same route today. And the entire time I was convinced that my car was going to break down again. I was convinced that it wouldn't start. I was convinced it wouldn't start again. When I was driving back home from getting pizza, I got pizza, by the way. I that was my reward. It was like, okay, Lev, if you can drive, that means you can go to the same place that you were going to go last time and you can get a pizza. So I got pizza. You guys can guess. Do you want to guess what I put on my pizza? I bet nobody can guess what I put on my pizza. It's two things. I bet you guys will think it's gross. Oh my gosh. It's 1 protein and 1 vegetable. And then also garlic, but garlic doesn't count. No, it's not pineapple. I said protein and vegetable. Chicken mushroom jalapeno is normal. Okay, chicken mushroom jalapeno is a totally normal thing to put on pizza. Sushi got it. Anchovies, yes. Not mushroom and anchovies, close. Close. If you fuck with anchovies and mushrooms, it's genetic. Wait, mushroom isn't a vegetable? No, mushrooms aren't vegetables. Mushrooms are fungi. Fungi are a totally different class. Yeah, fungi are different. I knew it, you weird. Yeah, it was anchovies. It's anchovies and pickled onions. Like, you know, like the red, pickled red onions, like the pink ones. It's really good. Nep will yell at me now. Sup? Which doctor are you? I'm a psychiatrist. Culinary vegetable. Okay, yes. Culinarily, mushrooms are a vegetable. Okay, in a botanical sense, they are a fungi. Mushrooms are too close to meat. You know, mushrooms are meaty. They're not veggie, you know? Fellow stank breath maxer. So, well, this is true. No shit, I want to go into psychiatry this autumn. You recommend, as in like, you want to go learn how to be a doctor, like go be a doctor, go to medical school, be a psychiatrist, or PMHNP school, or a psych PA, or a therapist, like that sort of a thing, be a provider? Or do you mean like go see a psychiatrist? Either way, I recommend. I think this field of study is so interesting. I think I have the best job in the world. Residency? Wait, are you in medical school? I'm so sorry. God, med school sucked. Yes, I recommend. Psych residency in the States is pretty fun, I will say. It depends on where you go, but psych residency in the States is pretty fun. I just finished. Oh, okay, so are you like on a different cycle then? Because residency usually starts July 1st, no? I say that like I don't know that, like I didn't just graduate from residency. Miko! Hello. Not in the US, no. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I recommend. I love psychiatry. I think psychiatry is the best field of all of the medical fields. You know, There's other countries other than the US, you know. No, I know. That's why I asked. That's why I specified in the US, because that's where I know, you know, because I've spoken to people who trained internationally, like both in terms of like went to medical school elsewhere, but then also in terms of did residency elsewhere. It's very different. It's very different. I was talking to someone who trained in the UK, and I was like, literally no part of your medical training system is like understandable to me. Like it's just so different, you know? OMG, the stream is perfect. I have ADHD. I know. I also have ADHD. I am here to answer your ADHD related questions and also like talk a little bit about ADHD and about ADHD treatment. To each their own, like specialty wise. I feel like there's a specialty for everyone. I feel like if you go to medical school and you are thinking about what kind of specialty you want to do, I think there's a specialty for everyone. I really do, because they're so different. And in my opinion, psychiatry is the best one. Haha. I have ADHD too, I'm pretty sure. Honestly, a lot of people do. A lot of people in medicine do. I feel like for better or for worse, like especially inpatient medicine, like a lot of hospital-based stuff I think works really well for people with ADHD, because a lot of things in the hospital sort of operate on a limited timeline, you know? This is why I actually really enjoyed working in the hospital in terms of like my ADHD stuff, right? Because like when I'm like, there's no long-term projects, like things are just day to day to day to day to day, right? Like when I was working in the hospital as an intern and on the medicine service, it's like these are your patients today, and you have to see them all in the next hour, and you have to finish all your notes today, and you have to call your consults within the next 2 hours, and then you have to put in all the orders now, and you need to triage, and you need to, and it's great, you know, because there's nothing to take with you into the future. There's no long-term project. There's no at the end of the week, whatever. It's you have these things that you decide you have to do today and then go today. Do you think making a 1 channel point redeem ask me a question will help you better keep track of questions per stream? Possibly. That's a good point. Maybe I should do that. How do I... platforms, Twitch, channel point rewards. Okay. Create reward. Ask a question. Oh, the highlight message redeem is the default Twitch one, I think. Okay, it should be there. Honestly, some hospital food is ass. And that's true. Some hospital food is pretty ass. Okay, I think it should be in there. Ask me a question about ADHD. And then we'll go from there. Ba 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 ba. Ooh. Test. Yes. Yeah, I think it worked. Meow, why do I like meowing? Why do you like meowing? I mean, I do actually have an answer for this. As in like, okay. Guys, let's go. Let's start with this. A basic. Don't you think that ADHD is just a way of a certain brain to function in this world? It's more of a hunter brain if you know farmer versus hunter theory. So I think hunter-gatherer as a framework for understanding pre-modern history like communities, I think is not total. It's like, I think it's been kind of, not disproven is probably the wrong way to say it, but it's been kind of like delegitimized a little bit. Like I feel like if, oh gosh, I'm not an anthropologist, so take this with like a million grains of salt. Or is it a grain of salt? Is it, do you discount it more if you take it with more or less grains of salt? Like, which is the one where it says believe me less? Whatever. And in any case, take it with a grain of salt. I feel like, I don't know about hunter-gatherer as like a framework for society in the past. However, that being said, I do think that there is something to the fact that like there is an increase in overall group fitness evolutionarily if some aspects of the group, right, communally are different. You know what I mean? Like there has to be some variation, and I think that's true, right? Like we don't get quote unquote like tested on our evolutionary fitness exactly as individuals. Like it acts on us, evolution acts on us as individuals, but like we kind of get like tested as a group. Okay, what just happened? Hello? Why is my phone being weird? Okay, there we go. I don't know why I just froze. So yeah, that's what I think. I do think that there are some benefits that it confers to a group of people to have some people have ADHD, right? Because they're more like, it's good to have some people be distracted or distractible, or always paying attention and always looking for new stimuli, right? And always willing to try new things, and sometimes being maybe a little bit more impulsive, and also being able to do those tasks or things that require a lot of like switching from one high stimulus thing to another, you know? There's this normality that's defined by books and society, but if you really think about it, there's no normality. I mean, normal is socially constructed, right? And I feel like most psychiatrists would agree with me on this. Like if you look in the DSM, things that are considered diagnosable mental illnesses, right? Like if we think of like how, when we're trying to diagnose someone with a mental illness, what are the criteria that we try to think about? And one criteria that's kind of there for basically every single diagnosis in the DSM is it causes the person difficulty functioning and it causes them issues, right? It's not saying that they're not normal, but it's saying that it's causing them problems in their life. And so therefore it's worth trying to help them. Right? In the same way that like, you know, somebody with like a physical disability or like congenital abnormality, right? Like if you're born without arms, like we're not talking about what's normal or not normal, but unfortunately this is not right or not, we're not talking about what's right or not right or how things should or shouldn't be. But if you're born without arms, living in society is going to be hard, and it's worth getting help, and you will probably need more help. And the same thing is true for like any sort of mental situation, right? Like, I was born someone with a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of anxiety and ADHD. And there are many aspects of the world that were not built for me in mind. And there's many ways in which those things have made it hard for me to live my life. And so I got treatment because I don't know that I would say that I'm a normal person, but like, I'm not saying that like it's not normal to have those things, you know? In any case, somebody asked me a question. Calcium compadre. Is it possible for undiagnosed ADHD to cause me issues in the future? How do I go about getting the ball rolling on getting diagnosed? This is hard. Okay. So, undiagnosed ADHD, is it going to cause you problems in life? Not necessarily, right? Like, it's not guaranteed to cause you issues. But there are a lot of benefits to getting diagnosed, right? And it also kind of depends on the severity of your ADHD and the severity of your symptoms generally, which are two different things, right? And how much it's affecting your day-to-day life. This is what I will say though, right? Is regardless, diagnosis is only as helpful as you let it be. You can decide not to get diagnosed with ADHD and still go looking at resources that are available for people with ADHD, because a lot, in my opinion, a lot of really good treatment happens outside of medications. And this is true for almost every single mental health thing, in my opinion, is that a lot of the times the medications are very, very helpful, but a big part of what they help is to enable like you to have the bandwidth to do therapy and to learn skills and to do all that fun stuff. So in any case, there's lots and lots and lots of resources out there for skills and structure and organization and tips and what tricks and whatever for someone with ADHD. And those are helpful even if you sort of just suspect a diagnosis and don't actually get diagnosed. But undiagnosed and untreated ADHD is problematic, right? Because ADHD is not just I can't focus on work. It's not just I can't focus on like school or reading or things like that, right? It's a global executive dysfunction. The way that I like to explain ADHD is that people with ADHD have brains that are chronically understimulated, right? Their brains are just always a little bit more bored than everyone else. And because of that, like it's easier for them to get bored and they sort of start in a more bored place, right? And so the hyperactivity that you see and the inattentiveness that you see, it's not hyperactivity from energy and it's not inattentiveness from like lack of discipline or lack of interest or anything like that. It's that those are ways that your brain just comes to very naturally to try to get more stimulation. It's I'm bored right now, so I'm going to become distracted to look for other things that will interest me and stimulate me because I'm bored. Or I'm bored right now, so I'm going to start moving my body a lot and fidgeting and giving myself stimulus through like physical stimulus, right? So that's like the thing with ADHD. And so this leads to a couple other issues because there's lots of things in life that you have to do that are kind of boring. And so some of those include things like, you know, making decisions about life, like making good day-to-day decisions. And unfortunately, if your brain is just like a little bit like not good about measuring, you know, what's the word? Risk benefit analysis, like long-term thinking, risk benefit analysis. Like people with ADHD often have much more shorter term thinking with their brains because they're not good with time either. It's a lot more focused on now. There's just now and there's later and there's past. But like the sense of like how long things take and how long things are going to take and planning things stepwise into the future, it's just not doesn't come easy often. It's not true for every single person with ADHD, but it typically is a little bit difficult. And so at least to like impulsiveness, impulsivity, both like moment to moment and in terms of like big decisions, right? Because consequences are hard. And so because of that, if you think about it, somebody who's like maybe a little bit more impulsive, both in terms of like physicality wise and behavior wise, will get themselves into trouble physically and will get themselves into trouble when they're talking to people. And then just overall impulsivity will just get you in trouble in life. Like you'll choose partners that aren't good for you. You'll crash your car on accident because you didn't hit the brake because you were thinking about something. You'll be more likely to have substance use disorders is actually true, and it bears out is that people with untreated ADHD are at higher risk of getting substance use disorder than someone with ADHD who is treated, even with like a controlled substance like a stimulant. Makes it hard to have lasting relationships. It makes it hard to keep jobs. Like there's lots of ways in which it really limits your function, right? So in that sense, there's negative consequences, right? Oh, and also because of the difficulty with organization, it's really hard for people with ADHD sometimes to take care of their health. Navigating the health system requires a lot of like consistent planning and organization that is like the exact kind of thing that people with ADHD really have a lot of trouble with, which is like, I need to coordinate a sustained amount of attention and effort over a long period of time and do this project in multiple steps. Like it's just not something that they're good. And it's different from it being hard. It's almost like your brain just kind of can't do it, you know? Yeah, okay, let me just go through some of the comments because I've just been talking. Thank you for the disclaimer. The more I learn about mental illness, the more I understand how artificial everything is, from disease to the definition to the drugs used for it. I don't know about the drugs used for it being artificial. I really have second thoughts about the profession. Well, I feel like if you conceive of psychiatry as a field where we're just like from on high trying to tell people what's normal and what's not normal and how they should or shouldn't feel about things, then yeah, I understand. That makes sense, right? But my conception, and I think a lot of my colleagues would say this too, is that I'm not going, like, a psychiatrist's job is not to go to someone and tell them that the way that they feel is right or the way that they feel is wrong, right? A psychiatrist's job is to listen to someone saying, I am in pain and I'm suffering for these reasons, or this is my experience and I don't want to live like this anymore. Like, I don't want my life to be this way anymore. And the psychiatrist's role is to listen to that and use their expertise to say, okay, I think this is happening because of XYZ reason that we would treat with ABC medication or treatment. And then to help them feel better, right? To help someone else reach their own goals. Like, if someone wants to be like some type of what, like if someone doesn't want like if someone has agoraphobia but doesn't want treatment, they don't want I can't force them, and I wouldn't want to either, right? There's lots of treatments out there that are like really good but are kind of uncomfortable. Like exposure therapy is really effective, but it's not everyone's ready for that, you know? If I remember correctly, in early versions of DSM, there's something named as essentially bad at life. Oh yeah, there is. It's like inadequate or in something like that, like inadequacy disorder or something. It's not good. It's not very nice. Is there a difference between ADD and ADHD? Not really. I remember a while back mixing them into a single diagnosis. Is accurate? Am I misremembering? Yeah, no, ADD, ADHD, it's just ADHD. We don't really distinguish between them. Now we just call it like ADHD inattentive type versus hyperactive type versus combined type. But even that, some people argue, are distinctions that aren't super meaningful. Ultimately, I think the way that we get taught and the way that it gets treated often is like kind of similar. Don't treat ADHD with your own substances, treat it with our substances. Well, the substance use disorder is different. And also, I will say, like, in terms of, I don't know, harm reduction, like, things that are made by pharmaceutical companies that are regulated and dosed appropriately and that we can measure and that we can make sure to monitor your blood pressure and all these things is better than just getting something off the street. I'm just gonna say. I don't think that's a controversial opinion. You know, and a substance use disorder is different from substance use, right? Like, it's interesting. I think I was talking with some people in V Theorem about this the other day about like addiction, and I think people have different definitions of addiction colloquially, but if I think about it, addiction is like doing something that is not good for you. Even though you know it's not good for you and you've experienced the ways that it's not good for you, and continuing to do it actually definitely continues to make your life worse, but you're still doing it anyway. Like that kind of behavior is like addictive, like addictive substance use disorder type behavior, right? You can develop a substance use disorder from prescribed drugs. That happens, but just because you're using controlled substances that could be a part of a substance use disorder for other people doesn't mean that it's a part of a substance use disorder for you, if that makes some amount of sense, you know? Modern psychiatric medicine is just a new substitute for religion. Oh my goodness. I have no idea what to say in response to that because I don't know what you mean. Yeah, no, I don't know what you mean. Why is inattentive ADHD so much harder to get diagnosed for? Asking because I remember it being a noticeable issue with lots of my teachers when I was a kid, but they were like kind of like, well, she's not being disruptive, so it's fine, I guess. Well, multiple reasons. So one is the very classic, like, mental health issue presents differently in boys than in girls. And for whatever reason, and I think for this it's because disruption in class is a lot more obvious and also a lot more annoying for teachers and for parents and for other kids, that like that, because there's like it's like a bias, a sampling bias almost, right? Because kids that had ADHD that presented in a very hyperactive way was much more noticeable, those kids were more likely to get diagnosed, and then we were more likely to feel like, oh, this is just how it presents, like this is just how ADHD presents, right? And it's the same, it's similar to how like there historically are difficulties with diagnosing women who have heart attacks and women who have autism and all these things, because it presents very like somewhat differently in women, and the default is, and the thing that's studied is often like the male presentation, right? Not out of any intentional malice necessarily, but out of like a societal like, oh, this is just the default. How does she know I'm a girl? No, you used female pronouns. But yeah. So ADHD does tend to present more like less like full on hyperactive, right? Because kids do what they feel they'll get away with doing. And a lot of girls get more socialized to be more quiet and to be more like out of the way, things like that. Bum, 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 bum. So yeah, so I think that's why inattentive ADHD is harder, because like things that cause more problems for that are visible and obvious for other people, as opposed to just causing problems for yourself or just causing internal suffering, right? Like a lot of girls with ADHD I've found, and this is, I'm not an expert in ADHD, I just have a lot of personal experience with it. But a lot of girls I found, like the inattentiveness also tends to present as like a dreamy, daydreamy, unfocused thing, which is a lot less obvious than like the sort of class clown standing on the desk yelling at everyone kind of picture, right? Even though both are doing the same thing, one person is just retreating inward to gain stimulus and the other person is going outwards. But one is much more obvious and disruptive and therefore going to be identified much sooner. Okay, long question. What do you think a good partner for somebody with ADHD looks like? Which characteristics that partner has? Maybe also ADHD? Because it seems you said ADHD people seem to get into interesting relationships, people who spike a lot of emotions, which most of the time are not good partnerships. So the answer is somebody who is more boring. ADHD person should just accept boredom because it's better. So where's the right balance between this? Okay, I think I understand your question. It's a couple of questions rolled into one. I think I'm maybe misspoke or said things in a way that made it misunderstood. I'm not saying that ADHD drives people to have bad relationships across the board, right? I'm just saying that ADHD is a thing that makes people more impulsive, and impulsivity in deciding who to be in a relationship with does probably make it more likely that you'll end up in a relationship that doesn't end well. In the sense that impulsivity just makes it more likely you make bad decisions, generally speaking. Not that every single decision you make is bad. You can impulsively make a good decision. You can get lucky. Not all decisions are bad. But, you know, with ADHD, I mean, I don't know that ADHD itself is the most important thing to consider when you're thinking of another, like finding another partner. I feel like more than ADHD and whether the other person has ADHD or doesn't or whatever, is just finding someone who's compatible with you, right? Like finding someone who has similar interests in as far as they have similar values, have a similar rhythm-ish of life, or they're looking for similar things. Because like I feel like you can be with someone who's very different from you, who likes things that are different from you and wants to do things that are very different from you, if they're also looking for someone who wants something different, you know? But yeah, I don't know. I think that if you find someone extremely boring, that's just not good for any relationship, and that has nothing to do with having ADHD or not having ADHD. Because I think that's also very like person dependent. Like there's people that other people would find, like there's lots of people in the world who would probably find me extremely boring. I have been told that, you know, that like I am a pretty boring person. I have very boring hobbies, and that's fine. Like I still got married, you know, to someone who doesn't think I'm boring. So yeah, I wouldn't put a diagnosis as the number one thing to consider when you're looking for a partner. I think that probably would be the mistake. I feel like a lot of ADHD, at least in the past, was often written off as kids just being kids. They don't listen sometimes, they're just active. Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And I think that's why it's like important. Well, when you're talking about diagnosing ADHD in kids, it takes a long time, because you need to talk to the kids' parents and also get reports from the school. So there's these scales that you can do. There's scales that you can do. There's surveys that you can do. They're like really, really long. And you do them, like have parents do them, but then you also have the the kids' teachers do them, and so you have that's also part of why it can take a while. It's really hard. Often, like, ADHD is also very highly hereditary, so often if a kid has ADHD, their parents have ADHD. So asking someone who's an ADHD parent, who's often undiagnosed, of an ADHD child to be like, hey, I need you to be very organized and get these 5 surveys to your kids' 5 teachers and have them fill it out and give it back to you and then give it to me. And it's like, will that happen? It will take some time. It will take some time, and the parent might also need treatment and diagnosis in the meantime. But, you know, yeah. In any case, it's a whole thing. You know, so I feel like yeah, there is definitely an amount of like not paying attention and not listening and being hyper and all these things. That's just normal for kids. But ADHD, kind of like, part of the definition is that, like, more than other people around them, like more than the other kids around them, much, or even much more than the other kids around them, right? It's not like you have trouble with XYZ. It's you have so much trouble, everyone else went home and you're still working at 8 p.m., you know? What are some ways to build habits if you're an out of mind, out of sight, out of mind person? I want to have a habit of putting lotion, so put it right in front of me, but then it got messy. I also got used to it. So it's just background. But also, in another sense, why is building habits so hard? Oh, building habits is hard because changing anything is hard. Change is one of the hardest things for a person to do. That's why, like, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior, because people don't tend to change. And it's not to say that people can't change. People can change, but people don't tend to change that much. And when they do, it often isn't super conscious or purposeful. I think it's pretty hard for someone to change intentionally in a certain direction, right? Especially if that direction is against the grain of the people that they're around. I mean, that's why for me, I think one of the most important things to think about when you're thinking about the partner that you want to choose or the job that you want to do is to also think about what kind of people you want to surround yourself with, because you will become more like them. The community that you're in influences you no matter what. Like, you can't control it. You're being a human being, is being social, is being influenced, you know? You can't control it. It's not possible. Interacting with people, interacting with anyone influences you. And that's why it's important to sort of like cultivate a community of people that you respect and that you want to be more like. You know, my greatest like goals in terms of friendships is always to try to be friends with people that I look up to and that I really respect. And whenever I am successful in doing that, I feel like it helps me become a better person. Anyways, and that's part of why I want to do psychiatry, right? Because I want to be a more kind of like a thoughtful, introspective person. And I want to be in a field where you talk a lot about your reactions to things and your thoughts to things. And I like talking to people and getting to know people. So yeah, that's why I wanted to be a psychiatrist. And I feel like it's helped me grow a lot as a person. And I've made a lot of changes in my life that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't a psychiatrist. So, you know, as a selfish thing. But yeah, so change is hard. In terms of habits, I think latching on to other habits is often one good way to do it. Another way to do it is to like start small. Yeah, you have to start small, and you have to you have to make it easy for yourself, right? Willpower can only take you so far. No person has 100% willpower. That's just not how we're made. you know? So like no one has 100% willpower, so you have to make it easy for yourself, and you have to like add it into your routine in a way that makes sense, right? So it's not just I'm going, like if you want to use your lotion more, I think you need to make it more like more explicit how you're going to incorporate it as a habit, like in a way that you can like visualize and write down and operationalize, right? So is it every time I sit down, I'm going to put lotion on my hands first before I sit down, and then see how that goes. If you're like, oh, but actually that makes things kind of like sticky and I don't like that, like, and it makes me not want to put it on or something, then just try to find a way to reduce that friction. Before I get up, I'm going to put lotion on, or whenever there's in between classes or whatever it is that you're doing at your desk, you know, like give yourself a cue, and so that you're not having to choose to do it. It's just part of the habit of your life, you know? So, and there's also the distinct levels of ADHD, which can make diagnosing harder, right? Oh, also, hi, Dr. Nicholas. My friend. Yes, that can also make things hard. Check the book Atomic Habits. Yeah. Yeah, no, James Clear, Atomic Habits is a very popular book about developing habits. I have not read it myself, mostly because I have a thing about self-help books. I don't know. I'm like, I read self-help books and then I get really convinced, like, I either will be like, wow, this is amazing, and then I look at it again, I'm just like, I feel like this is just one insight spread out over a whole book, and then it makes me mad. I've yet to really find a self-help book that actually changes my life. Actually, books that have really changed my life are not self-help books. They're often more like philosophy books, but you don't want it enough. That's not true. The problem with this is the thing, is that like there are probably some things in life that like you could do it if you wanted to do it, is a fair way to say it. But then there's other things in life that are like, if you, it's not that easy. It's really not, you know, like it's not as easy as just wanting it, not wanting it enough. If wanting was the problem, then a lot of problems would be solved, right? But I think this is where like people who get really, 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 really down on themselves for being lazy, like I think it's sad because there's only so much you can do about something that you've decided is an internal problem, you know? Like, I'm lazy, so I'll never do. I don't know. I just feel like if you're really, really, really down on yourself, saying like, oh, I just like am lazy, so I'll never get this done. I just feel like it's almost like a indicative that there's something systematically wrong, you know? You know, like I feel like that's often a systematic issue, because if it was just a question of wanting, like clearly you want it so much that you're like yelling at yourself for not doing it. So, you know, and then I don't know. I just see that a lot in like in people with depression or with ADHD or like anxiety that makes it impossible for them to start things. Like often like you're beating yourself up about not doing things and being lazy and not doing things because you want to do the thing. It's not that you don't want to. If all that you needed was to want to do it, then you would have done it. So something else is going on. So hi Lev, hi Evening, how you doing? I'm good. How are you, man? As someone with ADHD, it's very easy to feel like there's a million things to do and then sometimes it overwhelms you. Yes, it's really hard for people with ADHD to break things down. And then it can become very overwhelming. So like breaking down a big task into smaller tasks and then being like, okay, so the first thing I need to do is actually this is very hard. or it's not just hard, it's just not how you naturally think about things. And so you have to learn that that's not how you naturally think about things, and then learn to do that for yourself. It's just a skill you have to practice. And then, yeah, it's also just really, really hard for people with ADHD to prioritize also. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much for the follow. My issue with self-help books is thought of being productive is more rewarding than being productive itself. So I'll read the book and get motivated, but I'll still never start actually implementing what was said in the book. Hello, it's Ria from Discord. Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. This is my very first stream from you. Oh, thank you so much for being here then. Oh, yes. Miko is going through something that I have a whole box, milk box. Let me stand on my, wait, it is milk box, right? Bro, my brain just totally like zeroed out. Like, yes, it is standing on a milk box. Soapbox. Oh my god, I was thinking of Harvey Milk. Soapbox. Harvey Milk standing on a soapbox, not milk box. Okay, that's why it was like not making sense. Oh my god. Okay. Soapbox. Yes. Okay. My soapbox about this is what Miku was talking about. This is the thing, is that there's so many things to do in life. We have mistaken getting things done that is in service of a goal that is our goal in life. We've conflated that with being busy. It's really easy to be busy. There's lots of ways to be busy. You can be busy doing nothing. You know? It's quite hard because we all have unproductive phases, but the issue is whenever it becomes disruptive every day, then there's a real, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's normal to have like a, why is the ad 2 minutes long? Wait, what? 2 minutes? It should not be 2 minutes long. Hello? Okay, well. Is it 2 minutes? Or should it be 3 minutes? You know, I can't remember if that's long or short anymore. I feel like it should be, maybe it's supposed to be 3 minutes. I think it's supposed to be 3 minutes. It's been too long. It's been too long. I need to stream more often. Just go to the YouTube. Go to the YouTube stream. That one doesn't have any ads. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, okay. Yes. It's also important to take days off to decompress, and can sometimes be helpful to take the time to realize you probably have been more productive than you realized. Yes, exactly. I'd sub, but I don't manage to catch stream enough. It's fine. Oh my gosh. Like, even if I ever did a subathon, it would literally just be to like fund a charity or something. Don't worry. Okay, I'm okay. I don't do this for a paycheck. Like any money I do get from Twitch just goes into like making the stream better or donating to other people, you know? So there's absolutely no pressure to sub or to do anything like that. I am fine. I do this for fun. Your time and your attention is enough for me. Honestly, subs are just nice for you guys to not have to watch ads and then also get some other fun stuff in the stream, but you know, it's not necessary. Ba, 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 ba. I would gift y'all a sub, but rent is due soon. Oh my god, Sucho. Yeah, rent is way more important. What the fuck? Sorry. I shouldn't be saying fuck. Your finances are more important. Yes. Rent is more important. Anyways, I was talking about productivity. Productivity, okay? The thing is that like productivity porn basically is just rampant, especially in like self-help circles, and I think this is the problem. It's so enticing to people with ADHD because with ADHD you want to be stimulated, right? So you want something that's interesting, like really interesting to you personally, or just like interesting or urgent if it's due soon, or like easy to complete, right? Because you get a little burst of like, that feels nice whenever you finish something, right? So if you can finish something very soon, that'll give your brain some stimulation. If something's just very interesting to you, that'll give your brain some stimulation. And if something has to be done very soon, so then you get a sense of anxiety. Anxiety is also very stimulating, right? This is why, you know, people with ADHD often procrastinate, because like something doesn't become stimulating enough until it becomes an emergency, right? And so this is why the idea that like, oh, I could do something that'll make me feel like I'm getting things done right now, and it also won't be that like annoying or that difficult, right? Because sustaining your attention on something for a long time, especially if it's a difficult thing, is really, really hard. Oh, thank you so much for the gift sub. Thank you so much for the gift sub. You guys are too nice. But yeah. So like, for someone with ADHD, like this sort of like a quick win that isn't hard to get, like, oh, I feel like I need to get things done, so I'm going to like set up a new planner. I'm going to highlight all of the blah 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 in this thing, and it's like doesn't require that much thought, it doesn't require that much analysis or like deep thought or deep concentration, and it's a quick win and it's fun, and then you get to use colors. Like that's perfect for ADHD. Do you get anything done? No. So my ADHD on the more mild side, so unfortunately stimulants heighten my anxiety in tandem with my Lexapro. Oh dear, that's not good. I've, however, been able to manage it to an extent with therapy so far. That's good. And, you know, this is my personal experience, right? Is that being on stimulants for me, this is me speaking as like a person. This is my personal experience. I don't have data for this, okay? I don't have data to back this up. I'll look into it because I'm curious. But my experience with stimulants has been that being on stimulants makes it easier. Not even makes it easy. It makes it possible. Let's say it makes it possible for me to do some of the like organizational and structural productivity stuff that people encourage you to do, you know? So like, since I've been on stimulants, when I take it, I'm able to actually make a schedule and maybe keep to it like 45% of the time as opposed to 0, right? I'm much more likely to actually get things done if I put my phone somewhere else. Because like in the past, even if I put my phone in a different room, I still wouldn't be able to focus, because the problem wasn't just my phone. The problem was like I just literally couldn't really focus at all. I would like fall asleep. So with a stimulant, like now doing those things where like I put my phone away or I turn the Wi-Fi off or whatever, like actually does something. And so now I can get more things done. And I've been able to like pay attention to conversations better and to things like that, you know, and so I'm like less seeking out extra stimulation. And it's interesting because now that I do that less on days when I do take stimulants, I don't take stimulants every day. So I don't take them on the weekends, and I don't take them when I'm not working, or if I don't need to drive or do anything like that. And it's actually non-stimulant days, like my off days, have actually become more organized. It's almost like my brain has gotten used to what it feels like to go through a day in a somewhat more organized and focused fashion because of my stimulants. So even when I'm not taking my stimulants, that habit is still kind of there. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. My favorite way of being productive is to make a to-do list and not doing anything in said list. Yep, that's very ADHD in my opinion. It's like making the to-do list gave me a burst of dopamine and now I feel good. I don't want to do anything on it though. During your pre-med or med school experience, how easy or hard has it been to shadow psychiatrists? I feel like it's been weirdly hard, especially with mental health info being so sensitive and also the actual physicians being in high demand. Even for appointments, I see a psych NP because I can't actually see a psychiatrist. Yes. It can be hard. Yeah, this is true. Even as a medical student, there's limits to what you can like shadow. And unfortunately, in most places I've worked at or been a student at, you really can't effectively shadow someone doing the work that most psychiatrists end up doing, which is seeing someone in the outpatient setting, as in like in clinic for appointments over the long term, right? It's much easier to shadow a psychiatrist in a hospital setting, especially in a teaching hospital, because there's going to be med students there anyway. So you could and should totally do that. You could also try shadowing someone in like a partial hospitalization program or an intensive outpatient program that's a little bit closer to like outpatient stuff. But like, I don't really have great advice for shadowing psychiatrists other than just cold emails the people who run the clerkships at different medical schools if you're pre-med, and ask. Just ask. Most of the pre-med students that shadowed with me got in touch with like some other person and just asked them, and then they asked me and they're like, hey Lev, are you able to see some patients with this person today? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And of course you have to ask the patients if they're okay with it, but most patients are. Patients have to give their consent. How possible do you think our patient? No, it's very possible. What? Patients give consent to have a student with me all the time. Not in my current job, but when I was a resident, yeah, all the time. Especially if you work in like a teaching hospital. Oh, good. I actually got lucky shadowing 2 psychiatrists who volunteered at a day center. Yes. Oh, and you were introduced to community psych? That's awesome. Community psychiatry is really, really, really cool. I had a patient's mom during my peds rotation once blame the kid's gut biome and eating gluten for the kid's ADHD and conduct disorder. Oh dear, conduct disorder. That's not good. Yeah, no. I mean, the gut-brain axis, is there validity to the gut-brain axis like as a separate question? Yeah, no, of course there is, right? Like, there's definitely validity to the gut-brain axis, right? This is like, okay, taking a step back. One of the most common medications that we give as psychiatrists is the famous, the beloved, the wonderful, the invaluable SSRI, right? That's your Prozac, your Lexapro, your Zoloft. Prozac is fluoxetine, Lexapro is escitalopram, Zoloft is sertraline. In psychiatry, honestly, probably only as much as like some OB meds and some like I don't think I see any specialty use brand names as much as we do, except for like birth control medications and then like biologic medications and some oncology, like genuinely. I've been on a great many of those. Yes. But yeah, okay. So anyways, my beloved SSRIs, right? Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Doesn't really matter. All that matters is that you know it works on serotonin stuff. Right? So like for serotonin stuff, we sort of understand that the serotonin system, not serotonin itself exactly, but the system that uses serotonin is involved in anxiety and depression, whatever, things that we use SSRIs to treat, right? Do you know where the biggest place, the biggest repository of serotonin receptors is in your body? That's right. It's not the brain. It's in your gut. So that's why SSRIs often cause gut side effects. Usually they go away though. But that's also why like anxious diarrhea is a thing, you know? I don't know if you've ever had an anxious poo, but I feel like a lot of people have had an anxious poo. You get very, very anxious and then you have to poo and you have a loose poo. That's like very common. It's because there's a connection between your anxiety and your gut. Like it's a thing. That's why IBS is like very closely related. That's why like the most common manifestation, this also probably needs a source, but like one of the most common ways that like anxiety manifests in the body for kids is stomach aches. And so like really anxious kids who get stomach aches because they're too anxious to go to school. It's called like, there's a whole name for it. It's like functional abdominal pain. Well, it's not specifically too anxious to go to school, but you know, abdominal pain, stomach aches are a really common manifestation of anxiety for kids. And then also as you grow up. So yeah, gut brain, you know, it's a thing. I don't know about gluten intolerance causing ADHD, but I don't know. That does start to make me a little bit like concerned about what other things people think are going on, just because the big proposed connection between the gut and neurodevelopmental disorders was the guy who did the thing that said that vaccines cause autism. Like his other thing was trying to show that there was like a gut inflammation, autism, something like the vaccine caused inflammation, which caused autism. Like that's his thing, like in the gut. And I was just like, it makes me a little wary, but psychosomatic symptoms are wild. I know. Isn't that? I think they're cool. I think they're really cool. Because this is what I think. I think that saying that something is all in your head is completely meaningless, because I'm just like, okay, yeah, it is in my head. Everything's in my head. What do you mean? Makes sense. Anxiety affects our sympathetic nervous system, inhibits digestion, causes nausea. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I'm just like, everything's in my head. You know, it's like I don't know. I feel like psychosomatic symptoms are still symptoms. It doesn't mean they're not real. They're still real. They're just coming from a different kind of place and so need a different kind of treatment, but they're still real, you know? I don't know. That's just my thinking. Because I think once you start getting to arguing with someone about what they are or are not experiencing, then you've already lost. You know, there's not an argument that you can really win. So I don't know, like, does that make sense? I have a similar philosophy around people who are like lying to me. Like, if I think someone's lying to me, there's not really like, how do I put this? If I think someone's lying to me, I feel like the most productive course of action is not usually to start trying to prove that they're lying to me, you know? Ba-da-bum. It's also hard if someone has experienced something all their life, they don't really know what's normal. Ah, this is so true, especially for kids. Especially for kids. Kids just sort of go like, whatever's happening right now is normal. Whatever my parents are doing is normal. Like you just sort of accept things as a kid because you have to, right? Because you have to live. You have to believe that what you're living with is normal, because otherwise you couldn't exist, you know? Like, a kid sort of has to come up with an understanding of the world and the people around them that allows them to feel like they have some control over things and allows them to feel as safe as possible, right? And there are situations, of course, where you can't actually like come up with any sort of explanation that makes you feel okay, but kids can tolerate a lot. That's not to say they should, but they can, unfortunately. Oh, I missed a question. Is it normal to also not do things that you'll find too interesting? Like, I love reading, but other than it being hard to start, I also hold off because I'll get too engrossed, then I have to finish the book. It's all I think about for days. I mean, yeah, because you know this about yourself, right? That like, it's a hyper focus, hyper fixation thing, right? It's very classic that like things are either interesting or uninteresting. And if they're interesting, it's like hard to stop. It's because your brain is very excited. It's like, I found a source of infinite stimulus. We have to stay here forever. So yeah, no, I get it. Again, it's like the difficulty with decision making and with impulsivity. It's like you're almost like impulsively choosing to continue to do the thing that is not super beneficial for your day-to-day life, which is to just not do any of the other things you need to do, like shower or eat, and instead just read a really good book. Not like I've done that or anything. Yeah, no, I get it. That happened to me a lot as a kid, actually. I remember being a little kid, and I was such a goody two-shoes. Like, I was such a teacher's pet. I loved following rules. I loved rules. I loved rules because then I knew what I was supposed to be doing or not supposed to be doing. And I knew what other people were supposed to be doing or not supposed to be doing. I loved rules. I loved rules. I loved expectations. I loved like knowing what was going to happen. I loved knowing what people wanted from me. I loved homework. I loved taking tests. Like, I was a very square kind of kid. And yet I did get detention. I did get in trouble. And it's because I would get bored in class and then I would start reading. Like, I would get bored because something was taking too long, or someone was like writing something out by hand. Like, a teacher was very nicely writing something out by hand, and I was like, this is boring. You're not writing as fast as I can read. And so then I would start like reading Harry Potter. And then I would read Harry Potter for the rest of the period, and then I would get in trouble because I was not, like, very obviously not paying attention. Not you getting detention for reading. I would get detention for reading because I wasn't paying attention at all. Like, genuinely, I was like not at all paying it, like just fully just not on the same planet. Like, that's the thing. I hated it every single time. Every single time it happened, I was so embarrassed and I was so sad. And I was like, I know better than this. But then I was like, I couldn't help myself. It would be so boring. Some classes are just so boring. And what do you do in detention? Read? No, they made us sit on the stage during lunch. It was like some strange public humiliation ritual. I don't know. I don't know what my school, like what was different about my school, but our school detention was like, you get to sit on the stage in the auditorium at lunch. Like, far apart from everyone else. That's your detention. It was extremely boring. And they took my books away from me. I was very sad. how did you come up with the character design concept for your VTuber? Your VTuber avatar is so stunning. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh me, oh me, oh gosh. Yeah, so honestly, I think she kind of came to me like slightly fully formed. Like I always had a couple of ideas. Like for one, I knew that I wanted to I wanted green and pink because I think that's a pretty color scheme. I really, really wanted it to be like kind of Chinese inspired because I'm of Chinese descent. I wanted glasses because I wear glasses and I feel like there's not enough VTubers out there who wear glasses. Yeah, there really aren't that many VTubers out there who wear glasses, huh? I feel like there should be more. I feel like glasses are cool. Glasses are cool. Glasses are hot. And then I don't know. I was just like, I wanted something like plant themed, and I was like coming up with some ideas, and then I saw this gorgeous adopt design by Himsmoon, HIEMSMOON on Twitter. And she was selling this adopt design, and I ultimately didn't win it, but then she came back to me like a month or so later and was like, hey, this actually fell through, but you said that you wanted it. Do you still want it? And I was like, yeah, I still want it. And then I got the design, and then I worked with like another person. So in any case, you know, I feel very lucky for the artists that I've worked with. And yeah, I don't know, I just got lucky. Like I found this like adopt design that was just perfect for me. I was like, yes, that's exactly how I imagined it. But with glasses. But with glasses. I feel like glasses are often a toggle if they're present with a VTuber. Yeah, that's true. I think so too. Like mine are technically a toggle. If they will work. I don't know if they will. Aha, okay, there we go. So mine are a toggle, but like it's very obviously like it's not meant to be toggled off, you know? Like, not really. I feel like I look really weird and naked without glasses. Like, oh my God, what happened to her face? Put them back on. Okay, there we go. But yeah. And so then I also have my Huadian glows, which I think is very cute. You're not you without your glasses. I think so too. I think the glasses really add a lot, you know, especially the style of glasses. It's very librarian chic. When I was like talking about the design for the person for my model, I sort of imagined like a sort of, you know, Asian Asian style big sister vibe, like the cool babysitter librarian office siren kind of rolled into one vibe. I don't know if I was successful with that, but I think so. I think it worked. You know, I think with like my natural vibe, I guess it kind of works because I don't like have the most like effeminate baby voice kind of vibe necessarily, you know. Like I feel like my voice is definitely femme, but like not, you know, I'm not like cutesy. I have a pretty deep voice. So I think it works. I don't know. I just wanted a model that didn't look like they were 12. It's like, I am a working adult. I work a full-time job. I will put horns on my head, but I'm not gonna be a child. I'm sorry. It's not the typical VTuber voice a lot of people put on. I mean, this is the thing that I always wonder. I'm like, is that a voice that people put on? I feel like it's just a lot of people just have really high voices. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe more people are putting it on than I imagine, but I just can't imagine putting, like doing a voice that isn't kind of how you typically talk. Because I feel like making it so different from your typical day-to-day voice is just like, I don't know, that just sounds hard, you know? Like, that just sounds like a recipe for forgetting that you're putting on a voice and then you fuck up and then that's like a scandal for no good reason, you know? It's very soothing to listen to. Aw, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I was thinking at some point that I probably should do, like, I would want to do, like, what's it called? Like, not ASMR. That sort of implies something that's not what I would want to do. But, like, you know, like reading, like, a baby bedtime story. Maybe not baby, just a bedtime story. Because one of my things, I don't know why, something that always scratches my head, like it just scratches my brain in the right way, is mimicking voices and like customer support voices. I don't know what it is. There's just something about it that I've always really enjoyed doing. Like the airline waitress, like, hello and welcome. Welcome to Blue Airlines. We are so glad that you're able to join us today. Please relax, sit back, and enjoy the rest of your flight. You know, like that sort of a thing. I don't know. I just think that's fun. So something like that. OMG, same. That's so voice actor core. I just think it's fun. One of my earliest memories is mimicking voices. My favorite one for a long time has always been the bye-bye, bye-bye now, bye-bye, 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 bye-bye now. Are they gone? Is everybody gone? Oh, thank God, my cheeks are killing me. Which is like a post-credits from, I think, Toy Story 2. But for some reason, that just really like stuck with me. Bye-bye, bye-bye now, bye-bye, bye-bye. Sleep help streams. Maybe. Yeah. Although I wonder what I should do. Maybe I'll do a guided meditation. There's a lot of guided meditations out there, you know. There's a lot of good like guided meditation scripts. So maybe I could do that, or like a progressive muscle relaxation. You know, like feel the floor under your feet or some shit. I don't know. The problem with doing like a meditation script is that it's very self-serious, and I'm not a very self-serious person, and also it involves often a lot of pausing, and I don't think I could record something that involved a lot of pausing because I am a yapper and I can't stop talking. I love that from Toy Story 2. I love Toy Story. You know, I've only ever watched Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2. I've never gone past that. And I hear that I should. I hear that 3 and 4 are good. I don't know about 5. I think, didn't 5 just come out? 5 did just come out, right? I'm not crazy. But yeah, do we have any other questions? I definitely need to catch up on Toy Story 4 and 5. I hear they're really good. Well, I hear 4 is very good. I don't know about 5. But I hope 5 is good. I just saw some weird things about like how, I mean, I don't know, there's like sex jokes in it, but I feel like there's always sex jokes in like kids movies, you know? Like not obvious, right? Like obviously they're not gonna do anything that a kid would notice, but like, you know, jokes that go over kids' heads and are funny for parents. Like that's just classic, right? For like a four quadrant family film. No? Yes? No? Quote of the day: you cry not because you're weak, you cry because you have been strong too long. That is a very cute quote. That is a very cute quote. I will say it's maybe a little bit, I don't know. I don't think I could say it. I don't think I could say it and take myself seriously, but if it helps you, then more power to you, you know? There's always been adult jokes of some kind in kids movies, be it NSFW or about drugs or something. Yeah, no, there's always something, you know? It's like, gotta make some joke about marijuana or something, I don't know. Looking back on old shows, even like SpongeBob, it's crazy some of the jokes they have in it. I know. Things really do just go over your head as a kid. You're just like, oh. I'm not sure why that was funny, but you know, I guess it was funny. It's even more insane since Dan Schneider was there too during those times. Isn't Dan Schneider the Nickelodeon like foot fetish guy? Sorry, what a sentence. I'm sorry that you had to listen to that sentence, but that is what that is, no? Yes. Okay. Okay, sorry, my alarm is going off. Oh. Guys. Horrendous Predator. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, right. That was that Nickelodeon like documentary that came out, right? Where people talked about him enabling and causing, maybe being the perpetrator of, allegedly. Looking back on some of those shows, you do see some of that. I mean, looking back on some of the, because I was a big Nickelodeon girl, you know, so I watched a lot of the Dan Schneider shows when I was growing up. And yeah, there definitely were a lot of just like things that were just weird. Like I always thought they were just weird for the sake of being weird. Like, oh, it's so quirky and weird. Like there were definitely things I was like, is this what people do? Is this what teenagers do? Because I was like, I didn't go to like a normal school for high school, and I didn't like socialize the same way as a lot of other kids or have the same social life. So I was like, is this what American high school is like? Am I missing something? I don't think I was. I think it was just weird. I was like, yeah. Jeanette McCurdy from iCarly wrote her book talking about a trauma from her mom. Oh yeah, I do need to read that. I'm glad my mom died. That's the book title, right? Yeah. No, I felt for her. Like I have the audiobook. I think I listened to some of it. I haven't finished it yet, but that also just reminds me that I'm pretty sure someone asked me a question about good books, and I recommend Doppelganger by Naomi Klein. It's very, very good. Very, very good. Also, the Warhammer books are pretty good. Speaking of Warhammer, how has Warhammer been going? Yes, Warhammer has been good. I love Warhammer. I'm painting a monolith right now because the Necrons are cool. I feel for a lot of those child stars. Honestly, yeah, it's just exploitative. Because, I mean, this is like one of the most classic childhood traumas that there is parentification, right? And that can happen in a lot of different ways. A common way is when a parent is so emotionally dysregulated that a child begins to have to basically emotionally regulate their parent, like for their parent. Like, my parents can't control their anger, sadness, disappointment, frustration, so I need to not just control my own emotions, but also cater to my parents' emotions. That's one form of parentification, but then other common forms include like just being given responsibilities or being asked to do things that kids shouldn't do or shouldn't have to do, right? Like a blurring of rules and stuff like that, right? So when kids are like, you know, getting groceries and cooking for themselves and making decisions or feeling pressures that kids shouldn't have to feel, like the reversal, right? And this is a classic thing that happens, I think, with child stars. It's the reversal of the financial responsibility. Like, yeah, it takes so much of the childhood away, even if they weren't abused and miss out on having a normal child and actually being kids. No, exactly, right? Because like so many like child actors, like they don't go to school normally, you know? And like on-set schooling's plus minus how good it actually is from what I understand. So like there's all of that that's different. Just the experience of it is different. But can you imagine being a kid and being financially responsible for your family? Like being the breadwinner for your family? Like that's not something that you can really even conceive of properly as a child. So I think even like all other things being equal, there is just something inherently traumatic about being a child star. Like, especially if it's coming from a relatively like typical family where even if maybe they didn't need the money that a child actor would bring in, that money would make a difference, you know? The expectations would be so overwhelming and scary. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's just within your family. Consider also like if you're in a situation where you're working on something where the child star, or you are the child star, where it actually is a big deal for that film. You're not just a kid in a movie, you are the kid in the movie, right? Like you're the main character or something, and that's so much pressure from everyone else around you. Like the other people that you work with, other people that you work for, the directors, the people who are producing the film. Like there's a lot of adults. I imagine it only feels is stable if you come from a family of stars, so you have a supportive network. I mean, yeah, I think so, right? Because like I feel like there's very few situations I think where you could be like a super famous child star and have it not totally impact your home life in some way, in like a significant way, and just totally fuck up those like parent-child dynamics. I mean, you could just look at like what being TikTok famous or being a famous YouTuber did to a lot of teenagers, like those. I mean, okay, I'm not going to say specific names, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like teenagers or like very young teens who got very, very famous and very, very rich off of social media. Like it, to the degree that there are some people have taken us like behind the scenes, as it were, those relationships with their parents are totally like impacted by that, you know? Like I feel like it's kind of inevitable. I don't know how you parent a kid like that. Actually, I'm very curious how you would even parent a kid like that. But yeah, no, I can't imagine being a child star. That sounds exhausting. You know, as a kid, of course you want to be famous, but now as an adult, I'm like, thank God I was not famous. Thank God, I would have been terrible at being famous. I don't want to be famous now, honestly. Let's just stay here. But okay, so I do want to come back around really quick. Let's come back around. We're coming back around really quick to one last ADHD point, and then it will be time for Lev to poof out of existence, okay? And then it will be time for Lev to poof out of existence. So my last thing is, I've been watching someone on YouTube, and she has this idea. Well, what's her name? Mia's Digital Diary is a YouTube channel I've been watching, and she has this great, like she has a lot of series about like experiments basically, and I think that that's such a smart way to put like self-improvement, self-awareness, whatever type like stuff, and to frame it in the idea of an experiment. So in any case, basically this last week or so, yeah, it's been almost 2 weeks. I'm in week 2 of my experiment. So I've set up an experiment, which is to try to improve my ability as someone with ADHD, my sense of time, because I have a horrible sense of time. I genuinely have the worst sense of time of anyone that I know. I have no idea how long anything takes unless I'm literally staring at a timer while I'm doing it. And even then, it can still surprise me. Like, I will not realize when like car clocks or like microwave clocks are off, because I just sort of take it at face value because I have no idea what time it is ever, you know? Like I could start reading a book and you could tell me it's been 6 hours and yep, sure, I believe you. So my sense of time is terrible. And I was thinking of like, how do I get a better sense of time? Because I'll like start doing something and 4 hours will have passed. Or I'll sit there and I'll be like, surely it's been 4 hours and it's been 20 minutes. So like, I don't know. So I decided that like, okay, I felt like I had a better sense of time when I had more structure in my life. The thing is that structure is not something that you can just like give yourself through discipline, right? Like I can't just like discipline myself like through willpower alone. Like that's not how that works. I don't have that much willpower. No one has that much willpower, right? I'm not a robot. I can't just program myself into being like, okay, now be structured with your life. So in any case, my point is I was like, how do I set up something in my life that I don't have to choose to do, that I don't have to consciously remember to do either, that will help me have a good sense of how much time has passed? And I came up with a solution. The solution is a grandfather clock. Except obviously I don't have a grandfather clock in my house. So I'll tell you how I solved this. So basically I thought back to how when I was in college, the big like bell clocks would ring every hour, like da 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 ba 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 ba, bong bong bong, and then it would ring however many times it was the hour of, and it would just do that on the hour every hour. And that was just like the background of my entire university life. And I don't think I realized it consciously at the time, but it really did help give me a sense of time, just because it was like constant. And so I was like, oh, I think that helped. So let me put a grandfather clock in my own life. So I have an alarm that goes off every hour from during my waking hours. And it's not an alarm I have to turn off. It just literally goes like or something like that, you know, like on the hour. And then I get a little notification. It's like, it's 3 p.m. I'm like, oh, great. So it's nice because like it's not super intrusive and I can be doing something, like I'll be painting and I'll hear a little and I'll be like, okay, it's hit the hour. And then if I hear another one, I'll be like, oh, okay, between the two, then I just have, it's been an hour. And it's great. Honestly, I feel like it's really helped. So anyways, my little alarm just went off because it just hit 10 p.m. That was 12 minutes ago. So I've been talking about this for 12 minutes, which is crazy because I don't feel like I've been talking about it for 12 minutes. I feel like I've been talking about it for 2 minutes. Should have just gotten a real grandfather clock. Look, I would. The problem is that like, I want this to be something that doesn't bother the other people who live in this house, namely my cats and my husband. Yeah, and also like if I'm driving, you know? So yeah, that is my experiment. Grandfather clocks. There are apps that can do it. I think I will try that, but you can also just manually do it by setting an alarm every hour. Okay. All right, guys. I think it is time for me to go. Okay. All right, guys. It is time for Lev to go. Please, let's go raid my friend, my sister, Kimi Heinzit. Please give her all of the well wishes and all the well wishes to her husband, also Blue, who is currently dealing with some medical issues. I wish him all the best. Yeah. Oh, I don't have a raid command. I should make a raid command. I am sorry about that. Raid. Lev raid. I don't know. What should the raid command be? I never figured out a good raid command. Let's see. Do I have a... Aha! There we go. So that works. All right, guys. I love you all. I will try to be back again next weekend. I'm going to try to like do consistent like weekend streams for a little bit, but please feel free to join the Discord and let me know if you have any other ideas for streams, and I will see you guys soon. I love you so much. Bye.